From railways to electricity, the final journey of these worn-out railroad ties translates to power for 30,000 average American homes. But for the steel rails salvaged with these ties, it's a whole different ballgame. They're going to one of the largest mills in the U.S., Chicago Heights Steel in Illinois. In this vast boneyard, thousands of steel rails, some over 100 years old, have been collected from abandoned rail lines all across the nation. In a century-old process, they wait to be transformed by fire into fence posts, the kind that support wire fences from coast to coast. The product looks as simple as the rails, but the process of producing them is surprisingly complex.
The plant was built in 1893 to convert a used piece of railroad rail without melting it, just by reheating it into a finished product.
They call their method re-roll.
We consume 150,000 tons of re-roll quality rail for the operation.
The rails are moved into the mill where the re-rolling process takes place. The first step is to soften the metal by heating it in furnaces to over 2,000 degrees.
To bring it down to layman's terms, when your mother and grandmother had to make noodles, they took the dough and they took a rolling pin and they rolled it out. Basically, what we're doing is no different than that. Once the rail is heated to 2,050 degrees, it becomes pliable. Not melting stage yet, but it becomes pliable.
Once the rail reaches this pliable temperature, the operator signals for the rail to be pushed out of the furnace. From there, it goes into a high-pressure water container. 7 water jets operating at a pressure of 1,500 pounds per square inch blow off any debris on the surface of the rail. The rails are then moved to the first in a series of rollers. These split the rails into 3 different sections, creating the raw fence posts. Jesse Knox then adds the finishing touches.
It's just a raw post when I first get it. I send it through the straightener, then I put a plate on it, which I hang it up, send it through the paint, through the oven, come through, and then we package them up as you can see behind me.
The final product of the re-roll process, brand new fence posts. Lots of them.
I do about 20,000, maybe 20 to 24,000 a day.
In addition to fence posts, Chicago Heights Steel uses re-rolled rails to make everything from bed spring angles to garage door openers to posts for traffic signs.
Well, fence posts are bread and butter. It still amazes me that we make them. You would think we probably make 22 million of them a year. We do that every year, year in and year out. And every place you go in the country, you see them. It's like a never-ending product that we make every day, 6, 7 days a week here.
All this from a boneyard of cast-off rails.
Hopefully, everyone who is watching this program gets an idea that there is life after death. Normally, you know, that railroad rail would be melted down and it's dead. But now, here it's come back as a garage door tee, as a signpost. So, I mean, we saw a rail out there that was over 100 years old. So, the rail that was 100 years old, we took it out of the wheelchair and we made it a new, young, whatever the finished product was.
While operations like Chicago Heights Steel are all about transforming cast-off rails into something completely new, there's another railroad boneyard where locomotives face their own kind of transformation.